So hi guys, today we are going to discuss about the fundamental topics of the Microsoft Azure. What are fundamental topics of the Microsoft Azure and why we need to learn those topics? Why? Because you need to, everyone, not only data engineers, everyone should have somewhat of basic knowledge on the cloud computing concepts. Because in our data domain, if I have picked Microsoft Azure, some people will pick AWS, some people will pick Google Cloud. Based upon their company requirements and compatibilities, they will pick. But all cloud providers will work on similar architecture only. Okay, almost all the cloud providers will work on similar architecture only. I have pegged Microsoft Azure, where we are using n number of services or n number of resources that was given by Microsoft Azure to me, such as subscriptions, SQL, Cosmos DBs, and as well as Azure SQL DB, Databricks, Azure Data Factory, Event Hubs, Azure Synapse Analytics, Data Lake, Delta Lake, Snowflake, storages, etc. etc. Apart from this, so this is completely the resources part. What are the resources I'm using? Apart from this, you need to understand the Azure fundamental topics. What are the major what we call it as admin stuff? You need to understand mostly admin stuff. Okay, what are the accesses that we can provide, how we can create the users and all the other things. Before that, you need to understand what is a cloud computing and why we have chosen this cloud concepts and all, and how many service providers are there and how many types are there. So all these things, there are a lot of concepts. This is only one single video. Okay, there are no more other videos will be there on top of this. Only one single video, so kindly please pay attention. And we have discussed about all type of data ecosystems, database ecosystems, file formats, olap, oltp, and everything we have covered, which is almost on so many interview questions will be covered in this. Okay, so kindly mm, take a book with you, note each and everything, and after that again revise this one, because this is how much it is easy to understand, that much hard, easy to forget it also. If I ask the same questions 1 week back, only few questions only you could able to answer. So kindly my request is to please take notebook and pen, and we'll get started. Okay, so before uh, account creation of this Azure and all, we need to discuss few things. Okay, okay, we'll discuss few things, like what is a cloud computing basics. Okay, so this is a thing that we need to understand. What is a cloud computing? Why we have chosen this cloud computing? Okay, earlier days when cloud is not there. Okay, at that time the companies used to maintain everything on their own. If any company is maintaining everything on their own, we call it as on premise infrastructure. What is on their own? The company will have their own databases, the company will purchase their own computers, the company will have their own security systems, the company will have their own network firewalls, the company will have their own servers. We'll discuss about what is a server and all. The company will have their own racks and all, and the company will have their own data centers. So everything will be established and managed by the company only. Okay, so this is what on-prem infrastructure. If in a simple manner, if I need to explain, for suppose if you bought one laptop, okay, with having, let us assume, like you are having 1 TB of storage, okay, some 64 CPU like that, cores and all. We'll discuss about cores. You are having 1 TB storage, so you have stored some files in that. Okay, you are the owner of that laptop. You have purchased the infrastructure from HP, Dell, or something, and from then you need to develop your own things. For suppose if you are using that laptop for gaming, so that is a different service. that you are taking from it. If you are using your laptop to what we call it as for video editings and all, so that is a separate work. So everything you need to manage. Okay, here the infrastructure is a laptop. What is the infrastructure that the laptop has provided for you? It has installed Windows 11. Okay, Windows 11. If you have taken the normal laptops and all, mostly the laptops will have Windows. And if you have taken any kind of Linux laptops and all, means if you have installed Linux, it is a Linux OS. If you have installed what we call the Ubuntu, that is an Ubuntu OS. And if you have taken any Apple products, that is a Mac products, Mac OS and all. Okay, so depending upon your capability, you have installed it and you are using it. Okay, and if you are using for gaming, you need to install some resources means what? Softwares. Example, if I'm playing some Super Mario and all, so for that we have used it. Okay, and if I'm using my laptop, what we call it as to for photography and all, I need to install few more softwares like Adobe Photoshop and etc like that. Okay, so this is what infrastructure. So for suppose, okay, I have created one video, my laptop is there at home, I went to trip for some 10 days. Okay, if I want to use that the video which is there in my laptop during my trip, it is possible for me to use? No, when I come back home, then only I can able to use it. Okay, but it is not like that. Okay, the cloud provider, what cloud provider will do? Okay, leave it about cloud provider. Okay, you are using your laptop, for video editing and all. Okay, fine. After some time, what happened? Your 1 TB storage was completed. What you will do? You will purchase one more new hard disk or anything, and after some days, your laptop processor is not supporting for you for to make high quality videos and all. What you will do? You will increase your processor and all, but there will be some limit for your laptop. Like, okay, this much amount of limit only you can increase processors and all. This much amount of limit only you can increase the storage and all. Right? So in that case, what you will do? You will buy one another new laptop, right? So this is all what we call it as on-prem. So you need to manage each and everything by your own. Okay, if it comes to companies, they will purchase their own servers. They will maintain their own data center. Data centers are the buildings where the company data will be stored. Okay, and for the data centers, definitely cooling system should be there. Okay, why? Because if so many lakhs of users are using the data from those servers and all, definitely the servers will get heat up, right? Those CPUs will get heat up, those racks will get heat up. So at that time, what you need to do? You need to maintain some cooling systems to cool it. And as well as you need to handle the electricity requirements also, that is for sure. And you need to configure the networking also. And you need networking means what? Whether it is a private endpoint or public endpoint or like that. And as well as you need to ensure the security for it also. And you need to fix the hardware failures, right? Because due to some heating issues, some racks may fail and all, and you need to fix those hardwares and all. Sometimes some CPUs will get failed, sometimes some physical servers will get failed, so you need to fix everything. And you need to perform your server upgrades every time. This is the most crucial part. You need to take some patchings on your server every time. Everything was the company responsibility, which is an on-prem. On-prem will not come in cloud computing. Okay, this is a olden day architecture. And before understanding about the on-prem and all, what are the servers and all, I just want to explain one thing, like how your data flows in the network domain. Okay, in network. Consider this is me. Okay, consider this is me who is passing one request. Okay, what is a request? I went to Chrome. I'm having my own mobile network or home network. I'm having router at my home. Okay, I'm there under internet. I went to Chrome and typed this www.amazon.com. Immediately, what it will do, when you have typed this one, the browser will prepare the request for me. So I have thrown a request. Okay, what I have thrown the request for, suppose in Amazon, yesterday I have placed one order and I want to check my order status. Okay, order status, like till what happened, it was shipped or not, it came or not, so I need to check that one. So at that time, what I'll do, first of all, I'll go to Amazon and I'll just type www.amazon.com. Immediately what my browser will do, it will prepare a request for me. What is a request? It will make my request into HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, HTTP is a secure protocol. Okay, it is a protocol actually. Protocol means it will prepare my URL. That's it. Okay. Once it prepared my URL, this is my router. What my router will do, my router will use something called as ISP. It is nothing but our internet service provider, which is Geo, Airtel, BSNL, whatever it could be. Okay. It uses something called as ISP, because without internet you can't do anything, because your data needs to pass from through internet only. What our router will do, the router will send data packets to correct what we call the destination. So whatever the things or whatever the related kind of data I'm sending, it will make my data into data packets, and it will send whatever the URL I'm typing to a correct destination. Okay, good. Now, till now it's fine. But see, there is something I have kept something called as VPN over here. But in our general case, when you are typing Amazon.com or browsing something in Google, we won't use VPN mostly. But I want to explain about the VPN. What is VPN? VPN is a virtual private network. Why we use VPN means, see, for suppose I have installed MySQL in my local. Okay, everyone knows we all connected to MySQL classes and all. So I have installed MySQL, and I am the root user, and I have created one database, and I have created some tables out of it. So there are four members are there with me, okay, who joined newly. I have created user for them, and once I have created user for them, I want them to access my database and tables, so that they also can perform actions on top of my DB. Okay, they can do, I can, if I share my credentials also, they can access my database when every one of us are sitting under one network system. If every one of us are working under one network means what? If there is something Wi-Fi is there in our home, if five of us are sitting in within that Wi-Fi, that Wi-Fi IP address will be same. So by using that IP address, they can able to access the database that I have created. Okay, fine. But currently my client, I'm working to a client for Malaysia. Okay, Celcom project, which is there at Malaysia. So what they are doing over there, I'm there at Hyderabad, they are at Malaysia. I can't able to go into their network, right? If they switch on the Wi-Fi also, even after the door only it will get completed, right? But how I could able to access their applications, how I could able to access their working systems and all, their URLs and their databases and all, because of this VPN. VPN is not the actual network. What they will do, once I connected to my regular network, the people who is my client, okay, Celcom, they will create one user ID and password for me within this virtual private network. So they will create some virtual network, means which is not exist, so that's why it is called as virtual. Okay, it's really, it's not existed. Okay, so within that network they will create something called as user ID and password for me. So when I have entered the credentials that they have given to me, then only I could able to enter to their network. So when this VPN got success for me, at that time only I can able to use the URLs and databases and all which they have given. Even though if I'm having URL, I didn't connect it to any virtual network and all, it throws an error. Okay, it will say simply the request couldn't able to pass. Okay, so this is what the main thing of VPN. Every employee uses VPN. Okay, if the people who are there from the US client, they will use their own VPN. So everyone will have their own VPN. Okay, now once I have entered my credentials over here, there is, from now the game will start. Okay, from now the game will start. every organization or every company or every website will have something called as something DNS. DNS means domain name system. So if you are entering amazon.com, the DNS, what DNS will do, it will convert your URL or convert your request that you have given into IP address. Simply it converts the URL into IP address. Okay, because it couldn't able to recognize with the name and all. It will say, because if it is recognizing with the help of name, everyone will type their own names and all, right? So it will convert your URL into IP address. And if it is converting your URL into IP address, then only you could able to log into the firewall. Sorry, then only you could able to enter to firewall. So if I have given something called as www.amazon.com, it converts my URL into 54.24.31. So then only I could able to enter to the network firewall. See, every organization, even Google, Microsoft, everything, Amazon, Swiggy, Spotify, everyone will have their own network firewall. Network firewall is simply kind of a security card. What this firewall will do, it validates the request that was sent by user, that it is valid or not, or whether the user wants to do some unusual activities, or he has done any kind of what we call it as unusual logins and all. Simply he blocks him, that's it. He will not enter at all within the premises of the application. So once the so I have given just amazon.com everything. So the what firewall will do, okay boss, okay, the request that he has given, he want to check something, the orders, okay, order tracking and all. So no problem, we can give. Immediately what he will do, he will send to something called as load balancer. What load balancer will do, see, I am not the only user who is using Amazon right now. There are lakhs of people are there who are using Amazon right now. Okay, so there are back end, there are some servers will be there. Okay, server means nothing. It's a simply, you remember one thing, server is a boy which is there in the hotel or a restaurant. If you want to get some manchuria, okay, what you will do, first of all, you will call the bearer or the server. You will say, boss, I need please make my order one manchuria and one noodles and all. What he will do, he will go to the kitchen, he will order that product and make the things done, make the food ready, and he will serve the food to you. The main principle of server is that one only. So whatever the request that was given by the user, it will process the request and it will make the request to reach to right database to get the right data, and again it will serve the response to the user. That's it. Okay, so here I'm having three servers. Okay, each server, let us take each server can bear 10 users. Okay, if above 10 users crosses, it couldn't able to bear. Example, see, right now summer sale is going on for Amazon, right? During the night times, they will release the sale time and all. At that time, all the users will go at a time, log into Amazon, purchase their products and all. So at that time, the load will be very high. Some people, what will happen, the company firewall will get crashes, but Amazon firewall will not get crashes at any time. But what they will do, sometimes you couldn't even able to pay also. You went to payment page and at the time it will come out of it, oops, something happened, please try again, like that. Okay, which means the load on the servers are very high. You need to understand that. Okay, so at that time what happens, what is the principle of this load balancer? It uses some concept called as round robin method. And if I'm having 10 users with me, it will equally split those 10 users to these three servers, like 4 3 3, like that. It will not allow those 10 users to go to one server, because one server can bear 10 users. No, it will equally split so that the work will get efficiently done. Okay, fine. Till now I hope everyone clear. Right now, what are servers? Okay, there are two types of servers are there. One is web server and second one is the application server. Okay, for suppose if I have typed amazon.com. Okay, amazon.com. If I have typed the amazon.com, see, every time when I am typing amazon.com, okay, amazon.com, This UI is not getting changed. You can see Amazon logo is there over here, delivered to India where it is getting delivered, and what we this card details and all, and this UI is not getting changed every time when you see, right? That handles the static content. So if every time the user interface will not get changed, that is a static content. What web server will handle? The web server will handle the static content like images, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Means this is a front end. Okay, what application server will handle? See, for suppose if I'm watching this product, okay, like if I'm watching like let us say um, OnePlus GoPro pad. Okay, if I want to take this pad, okay, I have went it over here. Here also UI will not change. UI is same. So at the same, what is the customer reviews are there, and you will get the results. But if when every time when I'm searching this one, the content which is there within the results, it will get changed. Okay, and if you see this product, okay, what is a OnePlus. Okay, see, today the for this particular OnePlus 16 GB RAM, 512 GB, this one dual SIM. For this one, today the amount is 94,424. But if you come after 2 days and all, the amount may get changed. And if any sale is going on, it will get for 45, not 45, 60 to 70,000 like that. Right, this is what this is a dynamic content. Dynamic content means day to day the whatever the values or whatever the products which are there within, or whatever the content which is there in that application, which is getting changed by day to day life, means that is what we call as dynamic content. Okay, so that dynamic content will be handled by the application server. What it will handle? It handles the business logic, it handles the login checks, it handles the card handling, like whatever the products you have keep. So every time you will not keep the same products, right? It will get changed dynamically. And what is the payment logic? Every time same payment will not happen. Based upon the product only the payment will happen. And order processing, that one also will not be there. So this is completely back end. Okay, back end. What is a back end? Here everyone know Java, Spring Boot, .NET, Node.js, and Python, Django APIs they will use to fetch the data from the this database. So once this application server sends request to the database server, everyone will know if there is a database backend, there is server will be there. Okay, if you are executing your select statements and all, it will convert your select statement it's to own execution, and then only it will sends retrieves the data for you, communicates the data for you. So when this application server will send request to the database server, okay, here I have wrote something. Here I want to check my order status under order processing or order status. It will get the data from the database, and it will give the response to the database server, from here to application server, from here to web server you would be able to see. Okay, so this is what entire thing about how your request passes through your network. Okay, simply let me explain again. So you have typed something called as amazon.com. From your router, what your browser will do, it prepares the http, it prepares your request into http or https. So the router will pass your request through ISP, which is your internet service provider, to a DNS, domain name system. It will convert your URL into IP address. Okay, because every server will have its own IP address, and that server is connected to your database. Okay, so this IP is being sent to your network firewall. What this network firewall will do, it's a security guard to your website or this one. It validates your data whether you're not performing any unusual activities, or if your entire content is fine. If you are valid, then only it allows you to enter it into its website. Then after that, what is your load balancer? If so many users are there, it uses something called as round robin methods, and some other methods are there. Based upon that, it sends the users equally to all the servers which are there. Okay, and later on, so if you take the server, what is a server? Server is a real-time server. It takes the request from the user, and it gives it to the backend. Okay, yeah, means it goes to your database, and then it fetches the response from it and provides it to the user. That is a main role of server, real life server only. Same, whatever your hotel servers are there, same only. And servers are two types: web servers and as well as application servers. Web servers will handle your static content, and application server will handle your dynamic content. Okay, here whenever the application server, first of all the request come to web servers, and from web servers it goes to application servers. From application server it sends request to your database server. From database server it gives whatever the requirement that you want, so to your SQL database. From that SQL database it gets your response, and it passes to application server, web server, and finally it loads into your company web page. So this is what happens in the background. So when you come to your on-prem infrastructure, everything should be managed by you. You need to purchase your own databases, you need to purchase your own computers, you need to purchase your you need to establish your own security, you need to establish your own network firewall, which should be very strong. Your servers, racks, everything should be done by you, and it should be managed by you, maintained by you, and whatever the upgrades are there, that also taken by you, which is very difficult, and it is been done in the olden days. Okay, like example, if you are having a bank, if you want to run bank, and that bank, so if you are having SBA website is there, right? Everyone knows. So what they will do, they will purchase some hundred servers, storage systems, backup system. Why backup systems? For suppose for any cause, if you're whatever, wherever you are storing your data, if that data got crashed, there should be some backup system should be there to back up the entire data. And firewalls, and as well as network cables and all, to pass. Why we use network cables? To pass our data through cables, networks. Okay, and all the infrastructure needed to be installed, monitored, maintained, and manually inside the company's own data center only. And if data is lost, company's own responsibility. That's it. Okay, result, what is the result of it? The overall cost was very high because companies had to spend heavily on top of it, and they need to spend hardware, maintain infrastructure, power consumption, IT staff, security, and backup systems. This is what the major thing which goes in on prem. Okay, when I have worked with my, okay, before going to that, let us clear about the cloud computing. What cloud computing will do? Cloud computing means they are already having so many data centers. Okay, there are some cloud providers are there. Okay, like Microsoft Azure, one cloud provider, and as well as Google, one cloud service provider, and AWS, and these are the most commonly used cloud services. Okay, so what Microsoft will do, Microsoft will establish his own data centers. Okay, and within that he will establish so many servers he used to have, so many amount of resources he is having. Simply he will say, boss, you do not waste money on your servers, electricity, cooling systems, and all. I'm having all those things already. You just pay me. Okay, I'll provide you the server. Simply you go and work, sit, relax back, and work. That's it. Okay, so that is what cloud computing will do. And before I have told now, you went to one trip. If you want to utilize whatever the data that you have used before, you can't use that one. Why you can't use that one? Because your on-prem is there. On-prem means your own laptop which is there at your home. But if you kept your data in cloud, cloud means it's not a software on anything, computing through network. That's it. You just need to go to your Chrome, log in with if you have created your account in Microsoft. Okay, if you have created in Google. Okay, if you have created in AWS, that is also okay, based upon your cloud service provider. You just log in over there, and they will provide some storage for you, and from that you could able to access your video immediately. That is what the main advantage of the cloud. But cloud computing is not the only solution for storage. Okay, it's not only solution for storage. Okay, now first of all let us read the definition. Cloud computing is the delivery of computing services, okay, such as servers, storage, databases, networking, and software over the internet. Okay, as pay as you go. So this one you need to understand, as pay as you go. This is a one policy. Cloud computing is not free, bro. Okay. What they will do, he's having server storages, database, he will provide everything. Okay. But you need to pay them. That's it. And there is one more advantage is there. Okay. Like if you have purchased one pen drive. Okay. Let us take pen drive. So where is my pen drive? Okay, it went. Okay, leave it. So you have purchased one pen drive. Okay, and what you want to do, you are having something called as 5 GB of storage, and you want to store it. See, 5 GB of storage means everyone will store in pen drive only. Mostly, that guy won't have laptop or on-prem own computing, so he has purchased one pen drive. Out of 32 GB, 5 you will get almost all something called as 28 GB like that. Okay, 5 GB completed, 23 GB left. So you have paid for 32 GB only directly. You didn't paid for 5 GB. Your requirement is to store only 5 GB, but you are paying for 32 GB completely, where you are wasting 23 GB for money, right? Which is the cloud provider is not like that. He will say, boss, if you are using 10 GB data, pay me till 10 GB only. If you are used my resources till some 50 GB, you need to pay till 50 GB only. So you just use how much you want. Do not overtake the data and waste it. Just use how much you want and pay till where you have used. That's it. So if I'm using some resources, so he will just charge me till the content or till the what we call it as amount of resource that I have consumed from it. That's it. So instead of, so that is what the major advantage of cloud computing. So you do not need to pay unnecessary things and all. It will not go waste. Okay. Second thing, so right now I'm going to set up one Azure account, but that is for free. Okay, where Microsoft is going to give 200 USD dollars credits for you, which is almost all 20,000 in our what we call as ISTs and all Indian standards and all, 20,000 rupees like that. So you will get 1 month free. Okay, almost all 99 percentage of the resources that you can use from the cloud. Okay, but one thing, you do not need to click pay as you go. After your 1 month, you need to leave that account. Okay, leave about it. We'll go further. Now, after that, instead of buying and maintaining physical infrastructures and all, companies can use resources from the cloud providers. So whenever they needed through the internet. So from internet only they can connect with them. Okay. So this is what I have told earlier. Company, they used to have their own servers. They used to maintain their own. But now companies are rent servers from Azure, AWS, GCP through internet. Okay, so companies have no longer needed to purchase their, so they do not need to purchase their hardware, means they do not need to purchase their own computers and all, so many computers and all, and they do not need to maintain any data centers because already cloud providers are having data centers. They do not need to handle cooling and electricity because they are having data centers, means they absolutely they will maintain. That's it, right? So if for suppose if any servers got failed, Microsoft is full responsibility for it. Okay. If any servers got failed, Microsoft is responsible for it. If any mission is getting failed, Microsoft is full responsible for it. If any CPUs are getting failed, Microsoft is full responsibility for it. So there will be no cost that will be charged on top of you if anything is getting failed. Okay. So cloud solution, everyone know cloud providers already they maintain lakhs of servers, networking, cooling, backups, and security. What we need to do, just we need to create an account for the Microsoft Azure, and we need to request how much amount of GB and how many amount of CPU cores that we need. That's it. Okay, so I'll explain what are CPU cores and all. Already we have discussed in our Apache Spark videos and all, but okay, I'll explain because this is separate video, so that's why I want to explain this. Okay, now it will have huge amount of data centers. So every Azure means Microsoft Azure means it is having huge amount of data centers. They are having racks. They are having, each rack will have lot of servers, and there are so many storage systems, switches, routers, firewall, and all. Before understanding this, let us understanding what is a data center and how it works. Okay, before understanding this, what is a data center and how it works? Okay, first of all, before that, let me give you explain you about till some extent. Okay, okay, see, this is my Microsoft Azure. Okay, here I am the user. Okay, I want to get some space from Microsoft to store my data. Okay, I have edited few videos and all, so I want to store the data because even right now also my uh, laptop storage is getting full. I'm about to take one cloud account and all for pay. So what it will do, this is my user and I am requested cloud to get, like, see, every time I couldn't able to buy one new laptop and install in Windows and all, it charges me very high. If I need to take a super laptop and if I need to have so many cores, 1 TB means definitely I need to pay some 70 to 80,000 on top of it, and there are so many resources will go waste. So instead of that, what I will do, I will request cloud to create a virtual machine for me. Virtual mission for me. What is a virtual mission? Okay, see, see, virtual mission is just like as your computer. Your computer is a physical machine. Virtual machine is also a computer which behaves like as a physical machine or your computer. Okay, why, how it behaves? Your computer is touchable, you can type on your keyboard, you can touch your screen and you can verify everything. But virtual mission is like as a fake computer, or it is a virtual computer which was created by the software. Okay, and it works independently and it behaves as your same as your computer only. Okay, understood, huh? Like, a virtual computer is a software created computer that uses resources from a real physical server. Okay, there will be one real physical server means what? There is something called as real computer will be there. It is like as a super computer which is having huge amount of what we call it as GB and all. So this computer, see, every computer will have CPU, RAM, hard disk, network card, motherboard, blah 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 blah. Like that only this physical server is having lot of amount of see, only it has CPU of 2 RAM only it will have 256 GB RAM, like that. Okay, it is very basic example I'm telling. Okay, and 20 TB what we call it as storage it will have. Processing also very high for it. Okay, so if this physical server will have these much amount of facilities, this supercomputer or physical server will have something called as hypervisor. So whenever, if for suppose if I need, if I want to create a virtual machine where I couldn't able to afford, I told. So I want Windows 11 Pro, okay, where four cores are required for me, or four vCPU or cores are four cores. RAM is 16 GB RAM, storage is 1 TB SSD. Region, I'm there in Central India. So how the region is being taken means, when you take the when you create your Azure account, you need to provide your region, where in which region you are been there. So based upon the region, nearby your region, it will take your nearby data center. There it will create your virtual machine. Okay, and your VM size something and usage you need to mention, blah blah blah, like that. Okay, and network public IP enable. Public IP enable means everyone could able to see your data, everyone could able to what we call it, you can share your data with anyone. But if you are creating one private endpoint means, I told now before, if I have login to their company VPNs and all, if they I have login to their own login credentials and all, then only I could able to watch their then only they could able to share the files or data with me. Okay, so I'm the user, I have requested like this. What this physical server will do, see, this physical server I have told already, it have RAM almost all 256 GB RAM. Okay, and as well as hard disk, let us take you are having 20 TB. Okay, so if I have requested for 16 GB RAM, 1 TB, first of all, it will go to your nearby data center. So okay, leave it about data center. What this physical server will do, this physical server will first of all check whether I'm having space or not to allocate to this guy. It is having lot of space. It is having 20 TB. Out of that 20 TB, this guy is asking 1 TB out of it. So what it will do, it sends the request to the hypervisor. Hypervisor is something that this is what the hypervisor will do. It creates the virtual machine for you. So okay, there are some hypervisors are there like VMware, etc. I know VMware. Okay, VMware. Okay, this hypervisor will create a virtual machine for you, which means within the cloud it will create a Windows 11 for you. Okay, so that you can use your actual system may not have 1 TB or 2 TB like that, but that Windows which you are taking watching virtually, that will have, because you have paid to your service provider. Okay, virtual machine. So this kind of virtually creating your computer within any cloud provider is called as a virtualization. Okay, so one server will have many virtual machines. How many virtual machines we couldn't able to decide. Why? Because it depends upon the requirement. So I have requested for 1 TB storage, so it will give a virtual machine for me 1 TB. And see, one more advantage is also there. Like, see, if I want two virtual machines, one virtual machine I want to install Windows, and second virtual machines I want to install Linux, I can do happily. I can do both are separate systems. But in real world, you can install Linux, but if you want to take Linux with 16 GB RAM and 1 TB storage and 1 TB for Windows and as well as 16 GB RAM, it will not be possible. Then you need to maintain 2 GB of hard disk, which is impossible. Not impossible, but at that time you need to buy one supercomputer for that. Instead of doing that one, you can request Azure and ask him to create one virtual machine in the Azure network and all. So they will create it for you with the help of physical server. Physical server will send request to the hypervisor and he will say, physical server will say, see, I'm having 20 TB. He requested 1 TB. So give me, allocate some amount of space from me, create one virtual machine, allocate some amount of space for me. That's it. Okay, so there are n number of physical servers are there in the data center. So right now we will discuss about what will happen. So let me go over here. So if I come over here, I'm the user who requested to create this particular 1 TB storage and all. Immediately what this Microsoft Azure will do, because when you're creating your account, you need to give your location, nearby location, in which location you are staying. If you are staying in Central India, if you are staying in Canada, Central, East US, South Africa, there are so many regions are there. So based upon the region, it will send your request to the nearest Microsoft data center. And to the nearest data center will have, it is a huge tight security, and there are n number of server rooms are there. Okay, n number of server rooms are there. Each room consists of n number of racks. Okay, n number of racks, and each rack will have the physical servers. For suppose, if my room is having server room is having almost all 100 racks. Okay, 100 racks means the shelves. It's just like the shelves where you will keep our clothes. Okay, shelf is a rack, and within that you will keep your iron clothes. Now each iron clothes is one physical server. So each, as I have told before, each physical server could able to create so many VMs depending upon the request. Okay, so this is a what the system. The server room consists of racks. The racks consist of physical servers. Say for suppose bunch of physical servers. For suppose consider each physical server is having 260 GB RAM, 64 CPU, and 20 TB storage. Okay, and what this physical server will do, this physical server will send request to the hypervisor, and from this hypervisor, it will create the Linux. For suppose, as I told, If I want to create two systems, one virtual machine is for Linux and the other virtual machine for Windows, happily I can create and I can use it also, no issue. This is what the main thing which goes in a data center. Okay, I hope you understood about the data center. It just like, see, data center is like as a poultry farm, if you know. Okay, poultry farm. So the entire data poultry farm having so many rooms will be there, right? And each room will have so many racks. Within each racks, each hen will be kept. The hen is a what we call it as a physical server. If not every hen will can give as many as x as possible, right? Depending upon the requirement it will give. So the whatever the x that is coming out of the hens, they are the virtual machines. Those virtual machines we will utilize. That's it. Simple. I know this example is very awkward, but this is a simple way to understand. That's it. I hope you understood about the data centers, server rooms, what are racks, what are hypervisors, and what are virtual rooms. Okay, sorry, virtual machines. What will happen whenever I throw the request, Azure portal? See, whenever I throw the request, the Azure portal will send API to something called as Azure Resource Manager, which is ARM. Okay, ARM. What this Azure Manager will do, he will manages everything that is going within the Azure network. Okay, and what Azure network will do, he will find, okay, this guy is from the nearest of India. Okay, let us find the nearest data center, and it will allocate, sends the request to the nearest data center. From that nearest data center, it will find the physical server. Okay, this physical server is having lot of space. Okay, allocate to this server. And physical server will create sends request to hypervisor, and this hypervisor will create VM for you. If you are requested to install Windows 11 and all, that OS will be installed. Not in your local, bro. Not in your local. It everything will be there in the network only. You can't even able to install anything from the. You do not think like Azure will install one what we call it as OS to my laptop. No, everything will go in network only. That's why we call it as a cloud computing. Okay, so and after that network plus IP address it will get assigned. Finally VM is ready. Example, this one, Azure Hyderabad is the nearest data center for me. It goes to the server room and it will allocates to the rack 25, which is free. And as well as within the racks, one physical server it will pick, and within that physical server it will go to the hypervisor. And within the hypervisor, if I want to create two virtual machines, one is for Linux and other one is for Windows, it will create. And within that I want to install Spark, Databricks and SQL, I can happily I can do. So this is what about virtual machines and virtualization. Okay, I hope everyone understood these things. And each virtual machine will have OS. It behaves like exactly same as your real computer. It will have OS, Windows, Linux, Ubuntu, and MacBook and all. And it has its own CPU allocation, RAM allocation, storage allocation. And I'm discussing about CPU. What is the CPU allocation? And I'm telling that something called as four cores, or something called as four CPU or four cores. What is the meaning of it? So four cores means nothing. It is a parallel processing. It helps to do parallel processing. Means which means, for suppose if I'm having something called as virtual machine with me. Okay, four cores. If I have taken four cores means it is having four parallel CPU processing techniques. Okay, so this is my first core, second core, third core. Okay, consider I'm having some amount of data. Okay, what it will do, it will split my data into partitions. Okay, default, we have discussed all these things in our Apache Spark videos and all. So if I suppose each partition default size is 128 MB to sometimes the people will go up to 1.2 GB like that. Okay, but Spark recommends you to use 128 MB for one partition. Okay, so what, for suppose if I'm having some amount of data, what Spark will do, Spark will divide my data into partitions. Okay, one, two, three, four. So if I have divided my data into 4 to 5 partitions, okay, partitions, what it will do, those partitions will send to the cores, which means one partition will take one task. So one task will be taken by one core, which means the one partition will handled by one core. If my data is having four partitions, okay, if my data is having four partitions, four partitions data will be processed at a time. So that's why the people who used to play games and all, the people who used to handle high graphic softwares and all, they will first of all check the CPU. So at a time how much amount of processing it could able to do. Okay, so that's why it is very important, like Snapdragon processor. If you could able to see, there are so many processors are there. So in that, this CPU processing system, whatever the central processing unit is there, so this processing system, what we can say, will handle four cores at a time. Means it will process my data four four partitions at a time. That's it. Okay, so this is what four cores and all these things I have already discussed in my Apache Spark. If you want to check, go and check over there. And now let us uh, think about cloud computing services. I hope till now you understand why we are using cloud computing and all, right? So let us go to the next part. So till now we have discussed about what is on-prem servers and what are the on-prem infrastructure, what is cloud infrastructure. Now we are going to learn about how many types of cloud computing services are there. Okay. So first of all, everyone know what is on-prem own infrastructure. And if you go to, these are the three common architectures that will be followed by the all the cloud service providers. Okay, one is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Okay, IaaS means uh, IaaS means infrastructure as a service. Okay, PaaS, platform as service, SaaS, software as a service. Okay, first of all, before going into the definitions and all, let me explain you. IaaS means if I'm a user, I'm requesting, for suppose, okay, if I went to one villa, okay, if I want to purchase one home, and I have asked the contractor who is my Azure service to find some new home for me, and I'll give my requirements and all. It should be triple bedroom flat and this much amount of space should be there and like that. So my budget is like that. So all the things I'll discuss with my Azure. Okay, or my contractor. What that contractor will do, based upon my requirements, he will allocate one home for me, right? What was that home? That he will only provide home for you. Okay, he will not provide any kind of furniture or any kind of other services and all, nothing. He will just allocate the space for you, and he will say, boss, I have allocated the space for you, and you go and build whatever you want. For suppose if you want to build hall, you need to build hall by your own, and wherever you want to keep your bedrooms, you need to build everything by your own. He will just allocate the land for you. So if he is allocating land for you, that is infrastructure as service. That's it. Pass means what happens, he will build home for you. Okay, and he will not give any kind of furniture or anything. He will just build the rooms for you. That's it. This is hall, this is bedroom, this is bathroom, and this is kitchen. That's it. He will not give any kind of furniture. He will not give any kind of TV, fridge, tables, shelves, whatever it could be. So he will allocate some amount of space for you, and he will give the resources for you. Okay, that this is a resource where hall, like that. You need to build whatever you want. So this comes as pass. Okay, we will discuss these things in detail because this is an interview question. How many types of cloud computing services are there? You need to sell ISS, PaaS, and SaaS. What is SaaS? Software as service. Software as service means if I requested the contractor or the cloud user to find a home for me, he will find a home for me, and as well as he will find what we call as, he will build the home for me, and he will give entire furniture, everything to me. And completely SaaS means almost all the software, everything was built, and I am the user who can utilize this. So I am no need to do anything on that. For suppose in before PaaS, I need to build my own in what we call it as furnitures and all. I need to take all the TVs and all, place it over there within the rooms, right? But SaaS means no need to manage anything. Everything will be given by what we call it as Azure only. I just need to sit and enjoy. I'm the user. So these are the what three differences. Now we'll go into actual technical terms that we are going to discuss. First of all, the first thing is IaaS. Okay, infrastructure as service. Infrastructure means what? See, infrastructure as service is a cloud computing model where the cloud provider provides virtualized infrastructure resources. He will just provide resources for you. Okay, such as virtual machines. If I requested for a virtual machine, as we have discussed before, so he will provide a virtual machine for me. He will give some storage for me, some networking for me, CPU for me, RAM and internet. RAM over the internet. He will not provide internet. Internet is ours only. Okay. While the user manages the operating system, applications and configurations. Okay, so here what happens, here the cloud provides virtual machines and storage. Virtual machines, what it computes, provides a computer for you, that's it. Okay, it provides a computer for you, and it allocates some space which in your computer means virtual computer, not real computer. Okay, storage means he will give some storage for you, and networking, private endpoints, public endpoints, CPU, how many cores you needed, and what is a RAM, that's it. He will not give any software or anything. You need to install your own softwares, whatever the required softwares are there. You need to build your all. It's almost all kind of you requested for IASs, and after that you need to build all your on-prem kind of things. Okay, so what I need to manage over here, I need to manage the OS. I need to install my own OS. If I requested for virtual machine, he will provide. Okay. What cloud provider manages? They will manage the physical servers. So backend of the physical servers, they will manage all the applications I need to install. For suppose if I'm using MySQL, okay, MySQL, VS Code, Python, and as well as some other softwares I'm using, okay, WebSphere, like that. Applications I need to install by my own, and I need to configure those applications by my own. Or if any updates are going on, those things also I need to take care of. And where these applications will be stored, it will be managed by the cloud provider. Okay, there it will be stored. Security patches. So if any update is there on my application, I need to do by my own. But for that, the network hardware will be provided by the cloud provider. Runtime. Runtime will be managed by me, and as well as that for that runtime, power and cooling will be managed by them. Runtime means how much amount of time I'm running my application, how much amount of time it will run. That's it. Okay, simply simple terms if I need to explain. Okay, this is what IaaS is. IaaS means what? IaaS means infrastructure as service. Okay, as a service, he will just provide the infrastructure, storage for you. You need to build your own house based upon your requirements. That's it. Okay, everything should be managed by you. Water, electricity, everything should be managed by you. That's it. Now PaaS. PaaS means what? Platform as service. In PaaS, what will happen means, sorry, in PaaS, what will happen means, see, is a cloud computing model where the cloud provider provides a ready to use platform, including infrastructure. So first of all, he will give infrastructure, operating system. If I'm requesting for an operating system to install Windows, that thing, and runtime. If I'm requesting for a runtime, that thing also will be taken care by Azure only. And development environment, whatever the softwares or applications are there, those things also given by Azure only, allowing users to focus on application development. So what PaaS will do, instead of uh, see, first of all, as we are the developers, mostly we need to concentrate on the developing part. Admin part we need to know. Okay, admin part, giving access, creating the resources, configuring the things, that is okay. Okay, but that all the things will be taken care when IASS. Okay, in PAS, he will build the house for me. He will allocate the space for me. Okay, there is space is there, where there you can build the home. No problem. You requested for pass, I will build home for you. They will build home for me. Okay, and just they will build home for me. And after building the home, I need to decorate my home as per my requirement or as per client requirement. Okay, if the client is asking to uh, provide what we call it as, I need to change the color of this wall like this, and I need to insert TV in my bedroom, and I need these many amount of geysers like that. So all those things, those are all development part. Those things we can concentrate. Okay, what pass will do, it will give the infrastructure, operating system, runtime, development environment. So develop, allowing users to focus on application development and data processing without managing underlying on hardware and the system maintenance. So we do not need to do any system maintenance. It will be taken care by the cloud. What it will provide? Infrastructure. They will provide OS, runtime, scaling, and as well as maintenance. What is scaling? Scaling means, for suppose I'm using some virtual machines where I need few more virtual machines. Okay, that scaling will be automatically taken by cloud provider. You do not need to do anything. You just need to raise a request. And if you want to increase your own virtual machine size, if you want to increase your own virtual machine CPU, if you want to increase your own scale of your what we call it as own virtual machine and all, like CPU, storage, and as well as memory, RAM. So at that time, what you can do, that thing also taken care by cloud service. You need to just raise a request. That's it. Okay. So first of all, the example of ISS is VMs, virtual machines. Just they will give computer for you. Rest of the things you need to take care. What is a example for PaaS means? Azure SQL database, Azure App Services, Azure Databricks, Azure Data Factory. What? See, these are some of the Azure resources that was provided by Azure service. Here, Databricks Factory, all the tools are ready for you, right? Just you need to build your own pipelines. Just you need to concentrate on your own development. That's it. Okay. What we need to do in PaaS, I need to just manage the application code, data, business logic. That's it. Development part I need to take care of. Infrastructure, everything, scaling, runtime will be taken by the Azure itself. Okay. Now what is SaaS? SaaS is software as service. Okay. SaaS means everything is completed by Azure. Just you need to sit and enjoy. That's what the logic for SaaS. Okay. What happens in SaaS means, software as service is a cloud computing model where fully developed, okay, applications are delivered on the internet. Development is also being completed by cloud only. Okay, internet. And the cloud provider manages everything, including infrastructure, platform, update, security, maintenance, while simply access and use the software through the browser or application. Okay, what SaaS provides to you? SaaS provides usually uh, ready software applications, browse web access, data storage, security also provided by that only, automatic updates. If any updates are there, that will be done automatically. You do not need to do anything. Backups and recovery, user management, high availability, maintenance, and scalability. So these things will be taken care by SaaS. Examples. What are SaaS examples? SaaS examples is Gmail, and examples is this one, what we can say, Microsoft 365. See, Microsoft 365, what happens? Excel already built. Just you need to type whatever you want. And as well as this PowerPoint already built. You do not need to build anything. It's already built. Just you will use the resource. Google Drive, where you used to store your data and all. Power BI service, where you use to dashboards to create. Just you link your data with the dashboards. That's it. Salesforce, Drop, Netflix. Netflix, what Netflix will do? Netflix is already been built. Just what you will do, you will go and watch the movie. That's it. You do not need to build or develop anything, right? Yes. So this is what happens. Okay, I think I have done some error over here. It should not be Azure VM storage, Azure SQL DB. So what is SaaS? See, this Azure VMs is IaaS, storage also IaaS, because storage in Azure storage, see, these are the services that was provided. Virtual machines are IaaS. Storage are IaaS. Why storage is IaaS? Why? Because he will just provide a space for you. Whatever you want to store, you can store. It doesn't depends upon what you store. And Azure SQL DB is PaaS, where application is already been built. Not a application is, just they will get the application, whatever the code that you want to develop, whatever the databases that you want to develop, so you can develop, that is PaaS. Databricks is PaaS, Data Factory is PaaS, and as well as Microsoft 365, that is which already built, that is what SaaS. Okay, now the next topic that we are going to discuss is Azure data replication and redundancy models or types. What is Azure data replication? If some people have already used Azure services while creating the resources, they could have seen these options in the below, like LRS, ZRS, ZRS, ZZRS, and RAZRS. Okay, what are these things means? Consider, see, consider there are two reasons are there. Okay, reason means what? See, reason means if I'm living in India, this is one region. India will comes under one region. Okay, where what I will give while creating my Azure account, Central India. And if my it is my USA, okay, something called as it will say East US, West US, like that. Okay, there are some options are there: East US, West US, Central US, like that. Okay, same for Africa and as well as others also. Okay, now what is these things means? First of all, you need to understand the hierarchy. There will be initially region. Within the region there will be zones, data zones will be there. Okay, within the zones we are having the data centers. Okay, zone means region India. Consider this is a Hyderabad zone. Okay, consider this is a Hyderabad zone, and consider this is a Bangalore zone. Okay, consider this is Bangalore zone. Okay, in Hyderabad there are data center in one place. Two, for suppose in Hyderabad there are two data centers are there. In Bangalore zone there are two data centers are there. Same like how in East US and all. Rohit, why these many data centers are there? First of all, the users are getting increased, the customers are growing to Azure networks and all, not only Azure, for all the cloud service providers and all. So that's why data center, whatever the data that the users are storing, so definitely they need one data center to store the data that to store the customers data. That's it. Okay. Now, for suppose if you say what is ZRS, okay, while you creating your storage accounts or anything, you need to define these things like ZRS, ZRS, ZZRS, like that. Okay, what are these three options? LRS and all. See, for suppose you are storing your data, that is fine. Okay, what if for suppose your data is being stored in one rack. Within the rack, I have told there are some physical servers are there. Within the physical servers will instruct hypervisor to create the virtual machine. Within that virtual machine and all, not only virtual machine, you're within the virtual machine, you're storing your data, you are performing your data migrations and all, you're building your pipelines. Okay, that is fine. But what happened is suddenly because of some natural calamities issues or anything, your data is been, for suppose that due to some heating problems and all, that rack got burnt. Okay, or because of some hardware issues, that rack has gone. And what you will say, Rohit, I am having huge amount of data in this. If my data is been gone, what I can do in that? No, that's why Azure is so secure. I'll tell na. There are some policies are there. Okay, the policy is Azure data replication. Okay, it will keep copies of your data. Okay, copies of your data and redundancy models, redundant, to avoid the redundancies and all. Okay, what is LRS means? Locally redundant storage. Locally redundant storage. What this LRS will do means, for suppose within one data center you are storing your data. Okay, it will, for suppose within one rack, in within one rack, your data is being stored. Same within that data center only, somewhere in other rack your data copy, other copy will be there. Okay, one more copy will be there in the same, for suppose within this first building your data is there, one more copy will be there in the other building or other server room. It could be in the same server room also. Okay, so because of that, if that particular rack has gone, nothing happens. It will start reading from the another replica. Okay, that is what we call it as LRS. So when you are creating your storage accounts and all, you need to mention these options, how your storage redundancy should be there. If it is LRS, it will store in that same data center only. If it is ZRS, okay, consider because of some natural calamities issues, the data center has collapsed completely. Okay, then what you can, then you can say, Rohit, how my data will be there. So then at that time, before while creating the storage, you need to create the ZRS, zone redundant storage. What this zone redundant storage will do, it will create a replica of your data within other data center. Okay, for suppose if this is some within Hyderabad, some Gachibowli branch, and some other branch is there. Let us take DLF. In other branch also the data center, your data will be there. If this branch got collapsed, no problem. The other branch, it will go to other branch and start reading the data from there. Okay, this is what we call as ZRS. Okay, zone redundant branch. Okay, what is ZRS? ZRS means what? This is sorry, ZRS means what? Geo redundant. This one. Okay, geo, which means your data same like GRS means within the what we call it as region. Okay, region, within the region your data will be stored. Consider this Hyderabad, all the zone within Hyderabad zone, all the data centers got collapsed, but your data will be there in the other what we call it as zone, like in Bangalore zone. So these two data centers are there in the region. Okay, consider your region has collapsed completely, no problem. This is ZZRS. In the other region, within one data center, your data is being replicated. So this is what ZZRS. Okay, RAGRS means read access for. So you need to take the read access for the geo redundant stone that got created before. Okay, GRS. This one, it only have to read the access only. You can't do any kind of operations and all on top of it. Okay, but the problem over here is this is very cheap. This is okay. This GRS and GZRS are the very costly, but companies used to store their data in GZRS and GRS mode only. Why? Because if one data center is gone, the other data center is there to pick our data and all. Okay, I hope you understood about the data replication, Azure data replication and redundancy models. Do not worry, I will install what we call it as, not installation, sorry, I will make you to create one Azure account and I'll show all the options which are available in it. Okay, this is one stop single video for Azure fundamentals. Okay, there are no other videos are there on top of it. Now coming to the data formats. Now we are telling Rohit, so many are till now you have told about data centers and all, and what are the data formats we are having, like what kind of data we are handling on top of it. See, basically, if anyone asks how many kinds of data formats are there, simply tell them three types only. One is structured format, semi-structured format, unstructured format. Okay, structured format data means the data will be there. Simply it will be divided into rows and columns. That's it. Rows and columns. Rows and columns. Okay, I will show you the examples also. What are the examples and all? Semi-structured data means it's a JSON's data. Okay, JSON means that one also I'll explain. It is everyone know already. JavaScript object notation. Okay, that one. And the unstructured data. Okay, leave about first of all these two, but these many days unstructured data is going very popular. What is unstructured data? No SQL. No SQL means no, not only SQL. No SQL means it's not like not no SQL. Okay, no SQL full form is not only SQL. What is this NoSQL means? If you are storing your data in images, if you are storing your data in video formats, if you are storing your data in messy documents and all, so those are all resumes. These are all unstructured data where there is no for total format will be there. Okay, there is no proper format will be there. So that is what unstructured data. Why these many days unstructured data is going popular? Because we are using AI. We are giving one document to chat gpt and we are asking it to read the data and give the things for me, and we are giving some video to chat gpt and we are asking to generate the text out of it. So how it can text? By using the no sequels only. Okay, the popular NoSQL we are having is Cosmos DB and MongoDB. Okay, DB and Cosmos DB we use for MongoDB. Okay, sorry. Now, first of all, we'll discuss about the structured data format. What is a structured data format? See, structured data format is it is a fixed format and proper structure. See, it is easy to read. First of all, it is easy to read. The data will be there in rows and columns. Simply if any data is there in rows and columns means it is table format only. The schema is fixed. What is a schema? Schema means, for suppose, if I'm having a column for an employee ID, okay, if I'm having one column which is an employee ID, where the schema is fixed for that employee ID. For suppose all that entire that employee ID column will have the IDs only, like 101, 102, either the data type is int. Okay, if I'm taking the employee name, the entire column of that employee name will be fixed. That is varchar. So the schema is fixed for all the rows and columns. Okay, it will be like there is a it's like as a database tables. Okay, what are the examples out of it? The examples of structured data is this Excel tables, SQL tables, Oracle database tables, employee records, bank transactions, CSV files and Parquet files also comes under structured data format only. Okay, but when we discuss particularly about CSV files, Parquet files and as well as JSON files, so at that time we can say the JSON files are okay and all, Parquet files are like that, CSV files are unstructured form. When we actually compare my data with tables and CSV files, so at that time tables are fully structured, Parquet files and CSV files are not structured. But when it is real case, structured files, the CSV Parquets comes under this one. Okay, what is semi-structured data? Semi-structured data means it will not be there like as a complete columns and rows. Okay, slightly it is in the organization schema will be there. Okay, it's like not completely organized. What are the not completely organized? First of all, you readability format will not be there that much. Okay, those are JSON files, XML files, HTML files, log files, no SQL data. Example, see what is a JSON? JSON, if I want to discuss about the JSON, there is one table is there, employees table. Okay, employees table. Within the table, consider my name is ID 101. My ID is 101. My name is Rohit and 50,000 salary. So if why it is semi-structured means it's not like not completely unstructured. Why it is semi-structured means for my name, ID is being provided employee ID 101. So easily you can able to identify, okay, this is key value, key is employee ID, value is 101 for it, key is name for it, value is Rohit for it, salary for it 50,000 for it. So it is easy to understand to the user, and it is easy to process, it easy for computer to process also. Most of the times we use JSONs only, not only in data engineering. If you go to Python development and all, we call this as a dictionaries and all. So if I want to pass the request from front end to back end and I need to get the data will be taken in the form of JSONs only, because it is easy for computer to read and transfer the data. So this is what about semi-structured data. Finally comes of unstructured data, which means there is no fixed structure. Okay, like there will be no rows will be there, there will be no schema will be there. First of all, there will be no schema. For suppose, if first time if I have entered what we call it as employee ID as 101, second time I can enter employee ID as Rohit, third time I can enter employee ID as my phone number, fourth time I can enter my employee ID as email ID, fifth time I can enter my employee ID as salary. There will be no schema will be there. Okay, it provides that fixed flexibility to you. Whatever you want to provide to me. I won't see any schemas and all. I will take care of it rest. That is what we call it as unstructured data, which comes under the format of images, videos, audio files, PDF files, social media posts, emails, movies, CCTV footages. Because see, these things doesn't have any format or anything. Okay, images every time there will be no same image, video no same video, audio every time will change, PDF files every time the PDF will change. Okay, every time it's not like, if for suppose in before PDF file name is Rohit, this time it there will be no name also. Okay, sometimes there is some other file you can able to see, same CCTV footage every time the footage will get changed. Okay, so these are all the unstructured data. So this unstructured data mostly we use in SQL. What we use in SQL, that is the database that we use for it is Cosmos DB, and the language that we use, that is MongoDB. Okay, so this is one of the popular, there are so many are there. Okay, but I'm telling the popular and recommended APIs. Okay, that's it. Okay, now let us go to the next topic. I hope you understood about the file formats. Okay, now what are the most common file formats that we use in the data engineering domain? Mostly we use CSV format. It's a traditional data exchange. See, even in my current two projects also, we are using CSVs only. Okay, as an input, and some TXTs also we are using, and JSONs, API and streaming. For streaming and API we use, and Parquet big data processing. If I need to process the big data, for big data I use Parquets. You will get to know why Parquets are being chosen to for big data processing and all. Delta tables and all, those we use in Databricks and as well as Delta Lake. You will get to know some amount of knowledge in this video. Okay, why? Because Delta Lake we will discuss detail in the Databricks video. Okay, now Excel. Excel is for business reportings and all. So these are all the common files that we used over here, and these are the formats that it will be there: employees.csv, employees.json, employees.parquet, employees underscore delta underscore tbl, employees.xls. Okay, these are the file formats which are available. Now, when comes to the CSV format, the CSV format will be there like this. Like whatever CSV means nothing, comma, separated. Just a second. Yeah, okay, fine. Now, the most file formats, as we have told, that CSV formats are comma separated values, where from the first column, this is a column name, employee ID, name, salary, but those also will get separated with a comma. These are the two records which I am having. What is a JSON? JSON, Java Object Notation. See, I told now why it is easy for computer to read. This is a list. Okay, if you have studied Python basics and all, this is a list. Within the list, I'm having dictionary. So how many records are there? All the records will be stored within the this dictionaries only. So this is my entire row. Entire row will be stored within one dictionary. So within that, for every value, we'll give one key. For every key, there will be one value. So employee ID 101, name Rohit, salary 5,000. Same comes to the second record. Employee ID 102, Raj, salary 60,000. Okay. What are Parquet formats? See, the major difference between CSV formats and as well as Parquet formats are CSV formats are row-based file formats. Okay. Parquet formats are columnar based file formats. Why we use Parquets for big data processing means, see, whenever if I have given, consider I'm having 10,000 record, my record is there at 8,000 record. Okay, my record is 8,000 record. Okay, for suppose if I want to search my record, select star from Rohit where employee ID is equal to 8,000. See, I will give something kind of select star from employees where emp underscore id equal to my id is 8,000, which all the ids are stored in what we call in order. So what SQL will do, SQL will not directly jump to 8,000 id. If you think like that, everyone knows, right? What SQL will do, SQL will check row by row. Okay, in this row, if this is CSV, if my file format is CSV file format, first of all, what it will check, it is okay. The first file format, this is the comma separated. This is a what we can say IDs and all. ID name salary. No, it's not. 101 Rohit. No. 102 Rohit. So it keeps on check. Starts to check from first row and ends at the 8,000 row. Okay, it is a slow processing. If you are having few records, it's fine. But if you are having lakhs of records, okay, if daily you are processing 60,000 records, 70,000 records, lakhs of records, at that time, this is not that much efficient to work. But I don't know why my company is, my particular project is using CSV formats only. Now, when comes to the Parquet formats, okay, first of all, in Parquet formats, it will save in the columnar format. See, it will separate, it will first of all, how it will get saved, it's not actually like this. Okay, I have written wrong. It will save emp id. Okay, emp id, within this emp id it will say 101 comma 102. Then it comes to name. In name it will save Rohit comma Raj. Okay, and after that comes to salary. In salary it comes of something called as 50,000, 50,000 and 60,000. This is what actual Parquet format will be there. Okay, what happens in this means, when I'm searching my id employee id with 8,000, okay, with 8,000, it will not check this name and salary, but in CSV it will check 101 Rohit salary 50,000, 102 Raj 60,000. Everything will be checked, which consumes times and as well as the processing also. Okay, it will take a lot of processing, which costs, you need to pay for Azure whatever the resources you are using, right? Now, when it comes to over columnar formats and all, if you are giving one employee id as 8,000, it will not check these two things first. First of all, it will check employee id 101, 102, 103, 104, like that till 8,000, and it will give the correspondence 8,000 values to you. That's it. Okay, it will not check like 101 Rohit 50,000 and all. So that's why to process the big data, Parquet formats are highly used. Okay, I hope you understood this part. Now, let us discuss about that before jumping into Azure. There are some few minutes left that we are going to go into Azure interface and all. Okay, but I'm just making your base very strong before going into Azure. Okay, that's what my main intention. So just be with me for some time. Okay, bear me for some time. Now, database ecosystems. What is a database ecosystems means? How many kinds of databases we are having? This is the most important thing. So many people will skip this part. Because of that, they are highly confused to which database what they need to use. Okay, first of all, there is something called as relational databases, which is RDMS. DBMS, RDMS comes under this only. Database management system. RDMS means relational database management system. This we use SQL. Everywhere we use SQL, but this we use pure SQL. Okay. Here, how my data resides? My data is structured having fixed schema. Fixed schema means each and every column can store only that kind of schema only. For suppose if my employee ID is there, all my employee ID, how many people are coming over there, all the employee ID should be in integer. If I'm giving name, all the people which resides to that particular column, they need to be there in varchar only. Okay, salary decimal and status, that is also varchar. Okay, so like that it will go. Okay, so structure, fixed schema, SQL language. It uses pure SQL language. Okay, what are the examples for the relational database management? It is Oracle. So many are there. Postgres, SQL. My favorite. So when I entered to my company and all, my first thing is Oracle SQL. So where I have learned SQL, and as well as this Postgres SQL. So many people uses PostgreSQL, MySQL, MariaDB. In my current project, we are getting some amount of data from MariaDB, and as well as some DB2, SQLite, MySQL. All these things comes under this RDMS, relational database, where we have proper structure, fixed schema. If you are having proper structure, fixed schema, we can directly go with SQL language. Okay, for what it is used? It is used for banking, it is used for ERP systems. It is used for inventory, OLTP apps. You will get to know what is OLTP apps in the next image. Okay. OLTP, there are two kinds of things, OLTP and OLAP. Okay. Online transaction processing, online and analytical processing. Okay. Now, the second kind of database that we use to use, that we gonna database type is non-relational database. Okay, which uses NoSQL. Why NoSQL? Because this particular NoSQL, whenever if you are watching NoSQL and all, the data is completely in unstructured format only. Unstructured data, this RDMS cannot process. SQL only we can use whenever the data is there in proper structured format. Okay. Why we use this one? The purpose is for big data, and it is for flexible schema means what? If first time if I'm entering my id as 101, I told second time I can replace my id with someone's name also. Okay, because the images and videos are like that only. Images, videos are like that only. Every time we won't see the same images and all. And it is having high scalability because the market is going rapidly, and as well as we can able to scale the database as per our requirement. But if I want to scale it over here, we can scale it, but I need to change so many constraints, configurations, column altering, so much we need to do. Okay, it is very fast processing also. Okay, where we are using Cosmos DB and as well as this one. So types of NoSQL is key value, we are using Redis, and as well as documents. So there are some of the most what we call it as popular products are there. In this, they haven't mentioned about MongoDB and all. MongoDB is also used for NoSQL. Okay, why we used for social media, IoT. Okay, IoT means internet online transfer, large scale apps. Okay, For suppose, what is social media? See, social media every time, for suppose, if you take some news channel, every time the news will get changed. Okay. And as well as the weather reports and all, weather reports also every time, the what we call it as the reports will get changed. Okay. Streaming process and all, IoT, internet online transactions and all, every time it will get changed. You can't say that fixed data I used to get. No, every time the data will get changed. So because they are there in video formats and image formats and all. So when you are getting those social media kind of data, IoTs, large scale apps, at that time it is recommended to use the non-SQL. So it is purely used for the unstructured data formats only, which I have discussed before. Okay. Now, new SQL databases. Okay. What are these new SQL databases? New SQL databases means it is used for distributed computing systems. Okay. For suppose, uh, it is a combination of both SQL and as well as NoSQL. Okay. It is a combination of both SQL and as well as NoSQL. Futures for distributed architecture. As you can see, this new SQL databases, the Azure ADLS is kind of one of the database that we can see. It's not database, it is storage, sorry. But we can use delta tables and all. Those are used for distributed architectures and all. Right? If you are processing the data through data breaks, and as well as if you're okay, I understood. You won't understand anything. But see, simply new SQL databases means it is a combination of, if you are having proper structured tables and all, relational databases, you that thing also you can store, as well as it provides the non-SQL NoSQL scalability also. If you are having any unstructured data also, that thing also you can store. Okay. So these things, the new SQL database. The last one is analytical database or data warehouses. This is very important. This one is not that much important, but this is very important. Analytical databases means this is used for analysis. Okay. So once we have processed our data and all, we used to analyze the data. Okay. And we used to create some Power BI reports and all dashboards on top of it. And if you want to use the data for analysis, that is OLAP. Okay. Online analysis, analytical processing data. So for that, that is a data warehouses. Okay. That where we use this particular purposes and all. Okay, what are the examples of it? Snowflake is one of the most what we call it as data warehouses. In my current organization, the Snowflake is a data warehousing tool that we are using to uh, send the final data. Okay, we'll keep the final data in the data warehouse. Amazon Redshift. Amazon is using Amazon Redshift. Google not SigQuery, it's a Google BigQuery. I have generated it from what we call it as, I have given some syntax to AI and it has given like this Google SigQuery, and as well as this is Teradata. So these are the data that we used for OLAP. What are the characteristics of it? The characteristics are read heavy, heavy reading and all, and as well as aggregations, silation. What is I think wrong spelling, columnar storages. So this is what the types of databases, relational databases. So mostly relational databases, this is OLTPs and this is OLAP. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about the difference between the OLTPs and OLAP. That is the most important thing that you need to discuss. Okay. OLTPs means online transaction processing. OLAPs means online analytical processing. Okay. What is the difference between them? See, OLTPs means, for suppose you are having one shop. Okay, let me tell you what is OLTP and OLAP. You are having one shop. In that shop, the customers are coming. Okay, which means you are entering the records of them. Okay, and they are coming and taking whatever the goods they want, and you are entering the records within your register. Okay, consider your register as your database for some time. Okay, so you are entering your data within the register and all. That's good. So you are entering the data. So that is what you are already doing online transaction processing. You are doing the transactions. If one customer came to my shop, he purchased this one and this much amount he has paid. And a second customer came and he has taken this much amount and this is what the products he have taken. So this is already you are inserting the data in your register. Okay. At the same time, for suppose if your father want to analyze the data, okay, because your father doesn't know, like he want to take the data from the register at the same time, and he want to analyze it, like how many customers came, what is a bill till now, what how many products we have sold, and what is a total revenue that we'll get, how much amount of loss we got, how much amount of profit we got. So these are all calculations your father want to do. So here you are entering your data within your data register and all, that is OLTP, online transaction processing. And if your father is taking the register from you at the same time and as well as doing analysis or calculations, that is what we call it as OLAP, what analytical processing. Your father is performing analysis and you are doing transactions. What we will do, so purpose daily transactions, here the purpose analytical and reporting, because you want to, your father want to maintain some reports on top of it, because based on those reports only you will plan your next month. Okay, if for suppose this month some product didn't sell well, okay, the customers are not showing interest to buy that product, what you will do next month, you will not buy that product. Simply, why to waste money on that product? So that's why analysis is very important. Okay, now examples, what are the examples? On ATM transactions, every time transactions are going on. UPI payments also, every time if you go to one shop you do one payment and all. So this is what transactions you are performing, e-commerce orders, ticket bookings. So these are all the transactions which will store in the online transaction processing. And what is the type of, mostly we used, we use RDMS only, relational database management only, with SQL tables. Okay, characteristics, small data per transaction, fast insert, and here we can do fast insert and updates. Real time processing will happen, high incurrency, normalized tables. What are the examples? Oracle, MySQL. These are all the unnecessary things that was given by AI. So this is SQL Server. Okay. Now, what is OLAP? OLAP, why we use, for to do sales analysis, how much sales we got, to do profits and reports and all. Database type, this is data warehouses. Here we use data warehouses. Okay. What is data warehouses we use? Why we are using this one? Huge amount of volumes, read intensive. We can perform aggregations. Aggregations means if your father is performing how much profit we got, how many amount of customers came. So that is what aggregations. Okay, he want to maintain the historical data on top of it, and there are so many other characteristics are there. Okay, this is what AI. If I won't give proper prompts and all, it will give like this one. What are the tools? Snowflake, Azure Synapse, BigQuery belongs to this particular Google Cloud, Amazon Redshift, AWS. I don't know about this, but this is Databricks. Okay, these are all the things that we use for this. And why it got splitted into OLTP and OLAP? See, before na, in the early times and all, there is only one database used to be there. Okay, there is only one database used to be there, that's it. There are, it's not like OLAP and OLTP, no. With the rapid grow of this data and all, it got increased like that. Okay, for suppose there are three users came to your shop. Okay, where you are busy in entering their records within the register. Okay, like user 1, user 2, user 3, you are busy in that. But at the same time, the customers who are there, not customers or your father or your client, Okay, who is client? For suppose if this is, let us take, you are the owner of DMart. I think everyone know about DMart. Okay, where the transactions are going on, the customers are coming, they are taking the data, they are performing the transactions and all. But DMart team will have their own analysis team at the back end. Okay, they will have their own. Okay, now see, let me tell you about the this part. Okay, what is main difference between what warehouse, data warehouse and all, and next the concept is lake house, you will get to know. Okay, now what is data warehouse? Consider you are having DMart. DMart is you are having one database. In the database, there are some customers, not users. Let us take this as customers. Customers are coming, they are buying the product. So they will insert all the records in the computer, right? So it is continuously inserting the records in the database. Okay, fine. But there will be one analytical team will be there, because they want to make analysis on top of customers, like how many people came and what are the regular products they are buying, and on the top of which products we need to keep offers and all. So they need to do analysis. What they will do, they will try to fetch the data from the database. Okay, they will try to fetch the data from the database. But what database will say, boss, I'm busy in inserting the records, updating the records and transactions. Why you are taking see, if you are taking the, if you are taking the data from me, it is very hard for me to process. Because of that, I'll slow down and I may crash also. Okay, I may crash also. Okay, that's why there is one concept came called as data warehouse in between. What is the data warehouse? Data warehouse is mainly built, okay, for the analysis purpose only. What data warehouse will say, boss, do not worry, I am there for you. Whatever the data you are having, okay, give it to me. Whatever the entire data, see, do not think about whether that is curated data, uncurated data, clean data. Do not think about it. Just provide it to me. Okay, and you do what we call, you are busy in performing transactions, so you are doing well, so you do that job only. You do not try to fetch data from the analytical team. So what data warehouse will do, it will take the entire data from the SQL or RDMS to the this data warehouse. This is what we call it, this process what we call it as OLAP, online analytical processing. Okay, here what happens, there is no pressure on database right now. The data warehouse has taken all the place. What is a data warehouse? Data warehouse is a place where we actually dump our data, whether it could be curated data, whether it could be unprocessed data, whether it could be silver data also. Okay, and what analytical team will do, so here my data will residing, so from here the analytical team will read the data. Because of that, there will be no crash will form, and there will be no database slowness will be there. Everything will be fine. So this is what the basic definition of the data warehouse. Okay, I hope you guys understood. Okay, now let us discuss about what is a modern architecture. Okay, what is a modern architecture that it is there. Just a second. Okay, so fine. So why we are using only database? See, it is not only the data warehouse is not only to take the data from one databases. We can have multiple databases. Okay, we can have multiple databases. From multiple databases, multiple transactions would be going on. So what is the main definition of database means? Simply please note it down. See, a data warehouse is a large system. Okay, it's a very large system, or it's a central location where we store, organize, and analyze the data from the different sources in one central place only. Okay, that's it. Consider data warehouse is a big library data where companies keep information collected from sales, websites, apps, databases, all the other things. Okay, this is a centralized location. Okay, now 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 let me take you to the one real life example. See this video now, you just pause for some time, view again, pause for some time. Do not view the entire video at a time, you will get confused. Okay, first of all understand the things first, then only move to the next concept. What is end to end, how modern data architecture is there. So for suppose we are having application, let us take side by side, I'm having one example also. If you see, there is one Swiggy app or Amazon app is there. So that is what my application websites or mobile apps. From there, I'm performing one transaction. If I bought one product, that is a transaction. If I have ordered something, that is a transaction. So that is what OLTP databases, which will be taken care by RDMS with the help of Oracle, MySQL, and Postgres. Understood? Huh? So I used to pay, user used to place the order. So that will be taken by OLTP databases because it needs to perform the transaction. So that's why OLTP. Then after that, what will happen? Whatever the order that I have placed, it will do ELT or ETL. I'll explain what is ETL and ELT in some time. Okay. Tools to process our data. Okay, like ADF, Informatica, Airflow, and all. Because we need to migrate our data from one place to another place. Okay. So that's why data moved using ETL pipelines, ADF, and Airflow. After that, see, I'm not the only one person who is ordering my data. Lakhs of people will order my data. So to process the data, okay, to process the data, we need some engine. Okay, why ETL tools are used? ETL and ELT tools. ETL and ELT tools are used to just to migrate our data from one place to another place. That's it. What is this processing tools? Processing tools are Spark, Databricks, and Hadoop. Simply, if I need to give one example for you, if for suppose if I have landed in a hotel, okay, hotel means a five-star hotel. What I have ordered something called as noodles, okay, from my room. What manager will do? What manager will do? He will first of all go to kitchen, and what he will do, he will tell to the chefs and all, senior chef or something, that this particular person who is there in the 301, he need this kind of noodles and all. So this person will go over there and he will get the job done over there, and the chef will prepare the entire noodles by using different recipes and all. That is what is processing, and finally he will get the data and serve it to my room. Okay, here the manager who is going to kitchen getting the food and delivering to me, he is a ETL tool. Okay, simply we can say ADF, Azure Data Factory, Informatica, or Airflow. Okay, Apache Airflow. He is a ETL tool. Okay, ETL tool. What he will do, he will extract the information for me, load it to the chef, and again from there it will take and load it to me. That's it. Okay. Now, once this is been completed, what is this processing engines? Here, for suppose if this guy has taken order for me, he need to he need to process the noodles finally. But who will process the noodles finally? The chef. Okay, the chef will actually process the data for me. Okay, but what he will do, he will just migrate the data from one place to another place. Either it could be processed data, either it could be unprocessed data, or either it could be semi-processed data also. His main job is to take the data from one place to another place and simply serve it. But the data was prepared and it is processed by this particular Spark, Databricks, and Hadoop. And Hadoop Spark, Databricks we have discussed in our Apache Spark videos. If you haven't seen that videos, please watch it. Now, after this, what will happen? After once everything is been processed in, the data will be sent to the data warehouse. I told it's a centralized location where we will store. This is the OLAP layer. OLAP layer. So there are some what we call it as resources are there, like Snowflake is one OLAP layer where we can analyze our data. BigQuery is there, which is used by Google BigQuery, Google platform. Redshift, Amazon Redshift, which is used by AWS. Synapse, Azure Synapse, okay, which is used by Azure. So these are the analytical tools that is used to analyze our data. That's it. Okay. Now after this, what happens? This is a BI and analytical layer, which is Power BI and as well as Tabula and as well as Looker. So here, whatever the analysis that I have performed, those things, see, the clients don't know SQL and all. We used to analysis, we used to keep the data as per our analysis, and we used to, for suppose if client wants to just to know the customer name, customer ID, okay, and if he wants to know only how much this month we got revenue, does how many customers came to our shop and how much customers paid to us, it doesn't matter at all, right? What it will matter over there, the customer only, we are going to do the entire aggregation, and that aggregation we are going to keep in our table, which is Snowflake. That is what analytical table, and that analysis we will keep it in a Power BI, and it will show in a graph or in a dashboards. And this he will, based upon this they will take the business decisions. This is what happens in the entire organization level. Okay. And this is our lake house evolution. What is this lake house evolution? Okay. Data lake house, forget about everything. In during 1980s time, okay, there are only databases. Within the databases only we are doing data warehousing. Okay, there is no separate warehouse that we are keeping over there. Just we are asking the database to get the entire data over there. No, not like that. Because at that time there is little amount of data, there is not that much amount of people, there is not that much amount of smartphones and apps and all. So because of that, there are slight amount of data. Database is enough to do OLTP and as well as this OLAP at a time, no issue. But at that time, during 1980, traditional relation database used for storing and managing structured data. Fixed schema, high cost, less scalable. But at the time, it is okay because population is also very less, data is also very less. But when the population is going more, there is something called as we have splitted our data warehouse separately, which is our modeling layer. Okay. See, right now data engineers uh, came into picture with the modeling concept also, but in the before stage, our data engineers main job is to extract the data from the source, okay, unprocessed it, and as well as do some transformations on top of it, like removing null values, removing duplicate values, removing unwanted columns, etc, etc, and finally storing the data to my just giving the data at the final layer. That's it. But the data modeling will be done by like how many columns that we need to pick from this table and what are the required columns and all, that will be done by data modeling team. But these many days both got merged, and if data engineer means he need to take care of the databases, he need to do the ETL processing, he need to do the both modeling layer also. What he will do is the data is modeled, transformed, and organized here for the business use. Okay, it includes schema design, relations, aggregations, data marts, and all. Okay, now here what happens means, here it got splitted into two different things. On top of this data warehouse, there is something called came called data lake. So in Azure there is something called as Azure data lake is there. So it is built on top of blob storage. Okay, I'll explain you what is, because it those things you need to see practically. Okay, it's not like you need to see virtually, those things you need to see practically. Okay, what it will do, it stores all the raw data, structured data. Data lake means what? Lake means a kind of pond, small pond, where you are storing all your raw data, structured, unstructured, all the related kind of data in one place only. But here, if a database, you know that we can store only structured database, but data lake you can store any kind of data. Okay, but cost effective, highly scalable for storage layer. But after few days there is something new got evaluated, that is lake house. Lake house means it is a combination of both data lake and as well as data warehousing, which means we can do data warehousing in data lake also. That is what the main concept of lake house. Before we are only using storing the structured unstructured raw format data in that, that's it. But right now we can able to do the warehousing also on top of it. Okay, means we can treat the data lake as a central storage also. So that's where the combination of data lake and as well as data warehouse is a lake house. What it will do, it is a unifies the best of data lakes and data warehouse, provide asset transitions, okay, data governance and high performance analytical on open data. Okay, so this is what the data lakehouse architecture. It is open, flexible, and as well as it can store any kind of data. In that lakehouse we can do the data warehousing also. This is what data lakehouse architecture. Okay, this is a what we can say. After this is the end of our theoretical class that we have done till now, and after that we are going to enter into our practical things. Okay, we are going to create one Azure account and we are going to what we call it as go into the deep dive into all the things. Okay, now what is this data lakehouse architecture? Okay, it's an open, flexible and scalable data management. Okay, flexible means what? You can store any kind of data. It's not like you need to store only fixed schemas and all. No, any kind of data you can store. And it is scalable data management. You can increase your database like anything. Okay, so that's why you need to understand lakehouse means data lake plus data warehousing, which is a lakehouse. Combines the best of both the worlds to deliver high performance. Okay, what is a data warehousing? Where you are storing all your central data and all. Data lake, it stores all the unstructured, semi-structured, all these things. If you perform combine both of things, it will become a high performance, high flexibility and governance on open data types. That's it. Okay, what will happen in this means, say initially there are some layers are there. Okay, first of all, consumption layers. Okay, this is not this is a top level management. Okay, but initially we used to get the data over here. Either it is batch streaming, applications, okay, logs, IoTs and sensors. These are all, see, these are all structured, semi-structured and unstructured data only. Batch streaming means, for suppose, every day by morning at least I am getting 20 customers, afternoon 20 customers, night 20 customers, total 60 customers I am getting. What I will do, I will provide my father, who is a data warehouse for me because he used to do the analytics on top of it. What I will do, batch streaming I will do. For suppose if I get 20 members in the morning, that batch I will deliver to my father. Afternoon 20 members, that batch I will deliver. So if I'm delivering my data in batches, which means batch streaming. And real time ingestion means what? Real time ingestions means we use, okay, leave about it, but batch streaming. What is this applications? If my application is there, Amazon, daily I'll get lakhs of users who are placing orders and all. Those records I need to give also. That is the second thing. And logs, leave about logs. IoT services and sensors. These are unstructured data. IoT server. See, IoT services and sensors means these are unstructured data where every time the data is keep on changing and those data will be delivered in the form of messages. Okay, leave about it. Files and media, if I'm having, this is also unstructured data. If I'm having any files, that is unstructured data. If I'm having any media like videos, images and all, that is also unstructured data. What is streaming? Streaming means, if what is streaming, if you know that in YouTube some people will keep streams, whatever the live data that is going on, that data you need to migrate. Okay, live data means what? If for suppose if I have booked one Rapido, Okay, Rapido. What will happen if I have placed that particular ride or anything? Immediately, that is a live data. That data will be processed immediately. Okay, if I have ordered something in Swiggy, immediately that is a streaming. Okay, streaming means our data lake or our particular services will keep an eye on top of that, uh, what we call it as that website and all. Whenever any order comes, immediately it migrates the data. Okay, now these are all the data sources where I used to get the data. We also called as ingestion layer. On top of this, I'm having data lake. Okay, data lake means built on top of blob storage object. You'll get to know what is blob storage. Okay, what it will do, it stores all my data, because I told data lake will store structured data, semi structured data, and as well as unstructured data also. Everything it will be stored over here. On top of data lake, there is something called as modeling layer, where I used to have databases and data warehousing. What I will do, I will do ETL processing and all. I will take the data and do aggregations as per the customer requirements, and I will do the layers and all semantic layers, and as well as I will do data marts, ETL processing. I will transform the data. Finally, I will do data modeling and all. So what in this modeling layer will happen? It transforms, cleanses, enriches, organize the data from the effective analytics. So here my data is not organized or anything, it is there an unprocessed state, so here we'll process it. Finally, what will happen, it goes to consumer layer. In consumer layer, I will deliver to clients into BI reports, into dashboards, to data scientists for AML things, real time apps and all, so that they can look and as well as they can able to uh, what we call analysis on top of my things. So first of all, data source. Second is ingestion. Third is data lake, raw data. Fourth one is processing, ETL. Fifth one is modeling layer. Sixth one is analytical. And what are the popular technologies we use for this? Delta Lake, Apache Iceberg, Apache Hudi, and as well as Azure Data Lake Storage, Databricks, and as well as Spark. Okay, I know that this is quite what we call it as time taking to understand, but this is the real knowledge. Okay, you need to understand these things slowly, try to understand these things very slowly. If you are getting any errors in this, okay, if you are not understanding anything on top of it, you can just reach out to me, I'll help you to understand. So this is till now we have learned this much amount of video, which where we have discussed about what are the uh, things, okay, basic things that we are uh, needed for the cloud computing. It's not yet completed. Okay, it's not yet completed. Now we are going to create an Azure account, and practically we are going to watch each and everything. And this is a before thing I have shown, like these are all the sources I used to get, where I use ADF, which is a ETL tool, to migrate my data. Just it will migrate the data. This is a hotel manager. There are some ETL tools are there like Azure Data Factory, Apache Airflow, Event Hubs, Kafka, all these things and all. Okay, Event Hubs, Kafka is different. Azure Data Factory and these two are just a manager where it will migrate the data from, it collects the data from all the sources. This is Amazon S3 buckets, blob storage, data delta lake, GitHub, some sources I have taken. It collects the data from all the sources and it migrates the data to the data lake where all the unprocessed data is there, as we have discussed just now only before. And to do processing, I told to cook the data, to cook the unprocessed data and all, this data bricks is there to cook the unprocessed data. As in data bricks, we have discussed about Apache Spark in my previous videos, how it process the data, how SQL engines will work, how what we call it as there are some engines are there, how it will work and all. Now this thing will process my data, it will cleanse my data, it will remove unwanted columns and all those things, and it will deliver the data to my silver layer. From here, this is a data warehousing area completely, where I can use Azure Databricks to do warehousing, where I can do what we call as BigQuery, which is Google BigQuery to do warehousing, Snowflake, Hive, okay, to do warehousing, and as well as Synapse, Azure Synapse Analytics. See, if you are already aware of Azure Data Factory and Azure Databricks, I know you are new students, but some people already know how to work with data factory and as well as databricks. If you know how to work with data factory and databricks, Azure Synapse Analytics 80% you have done, because Azure Synapse Analytics is something which is combination of both Azure Data Factory and as well as Azure Databricks. Okay, finally once the data warehousing is completed, we will give it to the Power BI reports. That's it. Okay, now last thing, last thing, what are the not resources in Microsoft Azure? I told that there are two things are there. One is blob storage and as well as Azure Data Lake. We told about what is a data lake till now we have discussed. Before data lake, there is blob storage. See, blob storage means it stores only flat files, as simple object, which means we couldn't able to create any kind of hierarchical data. Hierarchical data means, see, consider, let me go to something called as Python. Okay, see here, for suppose if I have created a folder called as blob, so this is my blob storage, and there is one more storage is there for me. Let me create another folder, which is my what we called as ADLS, which is ADLS means Azure Data Lake file system. Okay, now blob storage, now see, if I'm having these three files, okay, I can only store these flat files only within this. I can store n number of files depending upon the storage that I have requested to the cloud. Okay. But there is no chance for me to create another folder. Like if I want to discuss introduction, like introduction, and within the folder introduction, and within this folder, I can't keep my files like this. Okay, which means I can't place folders within folder. Blob folder means it's a simple storage where there will be one folder will be there. Within that folder you can store the files, simply the flat files only. There is no other folders are allowed. Okay, but ADLS is not like that. Azure Data Lake is not like that. See, I can create a new folder over here called as introduction, introduction, and within this also I can create another folder. Okay, something called as files. Within this folder also I can create, I can place whatever the files that I want. So I can go in a hierarchical format. So Python ADLS, within this one more folder is there, within this one more folder is there. So if I could able to place the hierarchical data, that becomes data lake. Before, at the beginning stages, only blob storage is there. On top of this blob storage, we have built the data lake. That's it. See, stores data in a flat structure as simple as storage. That's it. Okay. These are the Azure storage services. Only these two storage services are there in the Azure. Okay, there are others are there, but this is a major storage service. Why we use data lake? For general purpose object storage, like tables, documents, and as well as the others and all, uh, and unstructured data like images, videos, all these things, CSV files, JSON files, all those files. Okay, and images, videos, backups, and all. Now, data lake storage. When this data lake storage, what will happen? This is data lake. We also called as ADLS. A means Azure Data Lake Storage Zen 2. Okay, what it will store, stores data in hierarchical folder. As I have shown before, I can create folders within folders. Okay, structure optimized for big data analytics. Why we need to store like that? Why? Because see, if I'm having what we call it as this file like this. Okay, if I'm having some files, That file I have migrated from Azure Data Factory, okay, which is an unprocessed file. Later on, that file got processed by Databricks, and I need to store it somewhere. I have chosen this blob storage only, and I have stored those files here also. And again, I have sent you this to warehouse. From warehouse also the analytical happened. The warehouse is also using this storage system only. At that time, all the files will get mixed up or not? Yes, obviously all the files will get mixed up, so it will be very messy. So that's why you do not need to use blob storage to do big data analytical processing. So at that time, if I'm having this what we call it as ADLS, right, what I can do, I can create three folders over here. Like the first folder is like, okay, folder, this is a unprocessed. For suppose if I'm getting unstructured data, I can store like this, okay, I can create. And as well as one more folder which is what we can say structured, okay, fine. And one more is semi structured, okay. But this is also a blob storage only. But within this one semi structured, again I can create some folders. Like what are those folders that I can create? Like I can create unprocessed data, PROCESS, unprocessed data. And as well as I can create one more thing called as semi-processed, not or clean data. And as well as I can create warehouse data. Okay, so this is how I can split my data and I can store it in the different folders. So because of this, I will not get any confusion, and even the system also can read the data very efficiently. And if I am using the blob, it will be very difficult. So that's why we use data lake storage for to do big data analytics and all. And it is built on top of blob storage with hierarchical namespace. That hierarchical namespace means folders within folders. I can create multiple folders within folders. That's it. For what? To support the big data analytics workloads. That's it. That is what the major difference between blob storage and data lake. And that also we are going to watch in our Azure. Till now we have done entire theoretical part. Now we are going into Azure. We are going to learn so many things like admin stuff in Azure, like how you can do IAM access and all, how you need to deal with the enter IDs and all, and how you need to deal with subscriptions, what are key vaults, all the things, the basic, some fundamental things, what is networking, subnets. These things we are going to watch in detail. Okay, till now, okay, enough for our what we call it as for our theoretical class. Okay, now we are going to create our Azure account, Microsoft free Azure account. Okay, in this Microsoft free Azure account, the prerequisites you required is, first of all, you need one Gmail ID, you need to have one Microsoft account, you need to have credit or debit card, that is Visa card. That should be a Visa card only, no Rupee card. If these three are there, you can create your Azure account. You will get 30 days free trial with 200 USD dollars. USD dollars. Okay. Which means 30 days you can use almost all 99% of the resources that you can acquire from Azure for free. But that will be there for 30 days only. And one more thing, do not press pay as you go. If you press pay as you go, if you have left your resources on, okay, you will get charged. So what you need to do, you need to create a free account and you need to use it for the 30 days free trial. You need to leave that account. Next month, if you are practicing on Azure again, you need to create new Gmail ID, and on top of that Gmail ID you need to create your Microsoft account again, and on top of it you need to get a new credit or debit card. The old card is not used at all. Because why it takes credit or debit card means to store your information that this guy has already came and used the free services and he can't use anymore. So that's why you need to take new Gmail ID. on top of this new Gmail ID, you need to create your new Microsoft account, and on top of this, you need to get your new credit card or debit card, and you can create your Azure and use the services. So this is what all the theoretical class about our Azure, Microsoft Azure. But till now, we haven't discussed much about Microsoft Azure. We have discussed about how cloud computing works, what are IaaS, PaaS, how data center works, what are racks, what are physical servers, what are virtual machines and all, how Azure data replication will happen, what are file formats are there, what is database ecosystem, OLAP, OLTP, and Azure account creation. See, these are all the sub and data lake. See, this data lake house, you just watch once more and you will get to know more when you went to Azure environment. Okay, so we'll see you there in the Azure environment, and I'll create the account in front of you only so that you can make it for your reference. But follow all the steps that I have given. Okay, so that's it for this part. Okay, thank you.